WBUR Podcast, Boston.
I'm Steve Brown, and you're listening to Up Next from WBUR. Now for something cringe. Stories from our teenage pasts. The show Mortified brings adults to share their deeply embarrassing stories live on stage for everyone to hear. But through the cringe and laughter, the show's co-producers say stories from the past help us better understand and maybe be a little nicer to our present selves. WBUR's Sharon Brody spoke with Sara Faith Alterman and Jackie Arko. They run the Boston chapter of Mortified Live and will host a show at WBUR CitySpace tonight. Sara started by telling Sharon teen angst hasn't changed much over the years.
Like, the themes are generally the same, right? Which is these kids desperately wanted to be seen and heard for who they were, but they were at the same time trying to figure out who they were. We have a woman who grew up in Acton whose first relationship played out completely in local parking lots. So she and her boyfriend would drive to like Bagels Plus or the post office, and they'd just sit in the parking lot and chat about their dreams and their relationship. And we have another kid who grew up in a different town who came out at a really young age, which in the 1990s was really unusual and vulnerable. And he published all these unrequited love poems, for boys who identified as straight in his school's literary magazine.
Jackie, I understand you have a sample from a story that you've shared in the past that you can share with us.
I do. So this was 1996, so I was 12. I had a massive crush on Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He was like a teen idol in like Bop magazine and Tiger Beat and those magazines. And he was on the show Home Improvement. And I just felt the need to record it in great detail of how much I loved him and describe him in great detail so that I could, I guess, preserve this memory of something that at the time was really, really important to me. So this is from February 7th, 1996. The desire for Jonathan Taylor Thomas is like taking over my mind, body, and soul. Him with that haircut sticking his butt right in the camera. Ooh, and then I drew a bunch of hearts kind of all around that paragraph. Jonathan is entering my eyes like a beautiful spirit. Then he enters my soul and sets it on fire, causing it to burn for him. Then he steals my soul and takes it to California. Which I can't even read with a straight face. I'm so sorry.
Jackie, what would you say to your younger self?
Oh, I think to my younger self, if I could talk to her, I would tell her a lot of the things that you're worried about, you do not need to worry about. I would want to reassure her and then also tell her that she's like doing a pretty good job. But, I think that there are a lot of entries where I think to myself, oh, that's actually a pretty good perspective, or like, wow, you have a pretty good head on your shoulders.
Sara Faith, with this whole concept of adults reflecting back on their younger selves using the actual written evidence, you see that as having empathy for ourselves. Talk about that a little, why it's so important.
I've been producing the show for 20 years, which is an insane thing to say out loud. And as I have grown and the show has grown along with me, I've started to understand and really have deep compassion for kids who are just kind of really trying to figure out, what is my place in the world? And right now, my place feels very tied to my crush and my obsession and how I'm going to express that. And what am I going to wear? And are they going to talk to me? And are we going to dance? Like, on its surface, that kind of stuff is really funny, but it's also an expression of a feeling that I think is so common to teenagers, which is, am I going to be okay? Am I a weirdo? Am I a freak? Am I the only one who feels this way? And I want to wrap teenagers today, but also the kind of ghosts of teenagers past, in a big hug and say, it's going to be okay. And also, everyone that you know is going through this. You're not alone. Eventually, you're going to be an adult and it's all going to make sense.
That was Sara Faith Alterman and Jackie Arko, co-producers of the Boston chapter of Mortified Live. They'll be at WBUR CitySpace tonight at 7.